There we go. Awesome. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. So people will start joining in here in a little bit. But I'll go ahead and kick things off. Hey guys, it's Clifton Savage, your good and faithful business coach. So we've got another small business spotlight live Q&A happening right now with Matthew Reif of Heritage Analysis and Innovation. So Matthew, it's great to get back on another call with you. I know we did your spotlight a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
It was so long, but that's okay. You got through tax season. That was a very important time for you. So, but yeah, so on today's live Q&A, we're going to talk about all things, business accounting, finances, and especially when it comes to construction and roofing companies, a lot of the do's and the don'ts of what they may be doing or may not be doing right now. And so got a lot of enlightenment that we can talk about today, learning more of the major aspects of the accounting side of your business and how to use them to take your business to the next level. So really excited about that. Some of the topics we're going to talk about is cash flow, controlling your project funds, using credit as leverage, and job costing, bidding, and a lot more. So obviously for some that have seen the post or even see your post, Matthew, on a regular basis, people are struggling with cash flow issues. Maybe their margins are razor thin or non-existent. And it's probably because they just don't have a good accounting process or they don't have anything at all set up.
Right.
And they probably even barely survive tax season. So that's what you're here for. You're their savior. So this is going to be great. Kind of give some insight. And for those that are watching at any time, you can pose a question and we will get to it when time permits. So if you got any questions related to a problem you're struggling with right now, post it in the chat, post it in the questions, and we'll address it with Matthew. But want to go ahead real quick, Matthew, just briefly introduce who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. My name is Matthew. I am the owner of Heritage Analysis and Innovation. We specialize in helping roofing companies grow their business through the accounting side so that way they can grow to where they're wanting to. I am actually a family-owned and family-focused company. I have family that works for me right now, including my wife, and we want to keep that focus, and we treat every client that comes in like family. Like, we take the time to understand what your needs are, to understand how we can help you, and to help you and your business and your family.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that part that you're saying, to grow to where you want it to grow, right? Mm-hmm. To meet their personal needs and balance that life and work, which is what I really appreciated from you from the beginning. So we're on the same level there. So Matthew, how long have you been in the accounting game? How long have you been at this?
I have been doing bookkeeping and accounting for the last 6 to 7 years. I've owned my own company for the last 3 years. I ventured out on my own after getting my MBA degree because I wanted to just genuinely help small businesses. And that's always been my focus. And that's what drives me, honestly, is keeping me going, is just knowing that small businesses aren't able to know every side of their business, nor should they have to. I mean, I don't know construction, so I'm not going to go out and build a addition onto my home. I'm going to hire a professional to do it. So
there you go. Yep. Yeah. The most effective leaders in a business know when to delegate and outsource, because they need to be a specialist in one thing, not a generalist. Right. So that's important to get someone like you in their corner, which is awesome. So with Heritage, I know you just recently started over the past 3 years. So where you want to take this company? What's your vision for what you're doing?
I want Heritage to get out there and actually be known to small businesses. Obviously, my outreach is growing because people are seeing my messages, seeing my posts and everything, and I'm getting more feedback on those. But I want to grow to be able to grow into a family business that my sons can take over, or that just can help my family, but also help other families that are in small businesses as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great when we can get our businesses to a certain size to help others, right? It's not about just explosive growth, but it's also not staying too small where you can't help other people, right? Or bad things happen. You can't even help yourself at some point. So it's good to be wise about a nice, solid trajectory, because that's what we really need to do, is look out for each other the best we can. So that's awesome. So Matthew, let's go ahead and dive into it. Some of the big talking points that you wanted to bring, to today's guests on our show. What did you want to start with?
Well, I want to start with a basic, from the start. Do you have an accounting process? So we'll start from where it starts, and that's having the correct policies, procedures, and set up for the accounting side of your business, because if you don't have a foundation. Basically, this part of your business is, I just say it, I keep saying it, it's like building a house. If you don't have the proper foundation for a house, you can't, if you build upon it, is it going to stand up? Probably not for long.
Right.
And your business is not any different on any part. Like, you have to have your policies and procedures for your accounting in place. You have to have foundations. You have to have a system running it, and either someone helping you run it, or you know that you're running it correctly. And that honestly is one of the hardest aspects to grasp, because I've met clients that are simply just doing stuff on spreadsheets or not doing anything at all. And then when they get to tax time, they're not prepared, or they're completely behind. So, and that's not how you properly run a business, especially the accounting side, because the financial part of your business is what helps you make decisions. If you're growing, if you need to invest in something, if you don't know that, you're not going to know where you're at.
So what do you believe from your experience is one of the biggest hangups from people making that jump to either investing in someone like you, but getting these policies, getting this foundation built? Where's the hesitation coming from that?
Just doing it. Like, people are, they say they don't have time. Well, if you continue to put stuff off and procrastination will kill your business. It's a known fact in this industry that if you're not having this part of your business in order for construction, you're not going to last 5 years, if that. So, and that's true for almost any business, really. So it's just taking the step and just doing it. Like, you're not, in order to move forward, you have to start doing it, and action is better than words, clearly. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that foundation is so critical, right? I don't know if you've seen it. There's something on TikTok. It's like roofing construction stuff, and there's a video of the whole foundation, or a whole frame of a house falling over. And they says because they, got the guy that had the lowest bid, but the whole point was it was a terrible foundation. They just didn't have it set up right.
Yep.
And that's catastrophic. But like you said, though, so many businesses may not even last 5 years because they don't have these things in place. Right. And it's probably now more than ever, the trades industries are becoming much more lucrative to get into business, so you see a lot of people get into it that don't have the business know-how at all. And you may have survived 10, 15, 20 years ago, but now the market's so saturated, you don't have a chance if you don't have this stuff in place. You're not going to last long.
Correct. And it's not just accounting. You have to have your communication in place. You have to know when the right time to hire is. It's, running a business is not easy. Like, it's not even easy for me. I mean, too, like, I'm going to be honest, there's been times where I'm like, what is going on? It's just, you have to approach it with every single aspect that, like, hey, I know we're going to get through this, but how do we get through this and do it the proper way? So when we attack it next time, we know that it's going to be able to be better. So
there you go. Yeah. And I know we'll want to touch on things like bidding, cash flow, job costing, stuff like that. But yeah, to your point, you got to know where your money's at, right? I think that's one of the biggest things. You got to know where your money's going. And then you probably have seen it. Some people don't even know how much money they're going to make this year. They don't even have a plan of their goal of what they want to make this year.
Exactly.
They're just riding by the seat of their pants and, the next big job will make it work for me. So what's the next step from here? Once they started building that foundation of policies, what's next?
I mean, basically it's getting to know your budget. So when I say getting to know your budget, you have to know how much overhead you're going to have. You have to know what you're going to pay yourself, but you also have to know what you're going to put back into your business.
Yeah.
Clients and other business owners are simply like, hey, like, well, I'm making money. Well, are you truly making money, or are you saying that because you know that you're putting money in your pocket right now, but are you really covering everything?
Right.
So having the proper budget also can help you sit down and know, okay, well, for each job, I have to bid a minimum of this per hour or this per project. Every business is going to be different in what structure you want to take and how you want to approach it. So if you need to bid this per hour, okay, well, what goes into that? My overhead, my hiring costs, this goes into it, paying myself, but also needing to make money for my business. All that goes into and this goes into the bidding aspect, but the budget leads way to knowing okay, I can confidently go out in the next few months using this budget, knowing that I'm going to make money, but you also have to know that that budget's going to change tomorrow because of the way this industry is with the cost of supplies. People are not wanting to work for what they used to want to do. People are just leaving jobs. People are I mean, and this is everywhere. So
Yeah.
I mean, the cost of gas is going to affect it. The cost of your tools and having to buy more, the cost of having to pay for new supplies because wood keeps going up, paneling keeps going up, it's just never ending. And unfortunately, your budget and your bids are never going to be, you're going to have to continue to keep them up to date. And if you don't, it'll hurt. Like, and you might not feel it right away, but you will down the road. So
yeah, absolutely. That is a massive headache to juggle. Let alone what we're dealing with right now and the unforeseen, effects of the rising gas prices, the limited supplies, and of course, some cost of materials going up too. How should they track this stuff? How should they build that budget in the first place? I mean, like you said, some don't even have a spreadsheet, but what's the best way that they should start going that route?
I mean, simply sitting down and knowing obviously a lot goes into the research, and contractors are going to know what roughly the price of stuff is and or if it's going up or if it's going down and stuff like that. But knowing that, but also just sitting down and like looking over your business saying, hey, okay, I have this amount of employees. I'm going to be able to cover this. I know, like, I'm going to have internet, I have gas, I have this, I have to pay contractors. You have to know everything that's going into what is you're paying out on your business before you can even like know what you have to make. Are you going to have to charge more than some others? Probably. Will you gain bids? Yeah. Will it take time? More than likely. But as you build, again, it's not an overnight thing. You can build your budget now, and then tomorrow it's going to change. The same thing can happen with clientele. You can have one good job, and then over the next few months, you can just be stacked with jobs. You're not going to have to worry about working for a while, or you could be scratching by and have to like go out and do stuff. But gotta like it. That's one aspect that goes into being part of a business owner too. You have to realize when is the right time to take a dive into either outsourcing parts of jobs and having somebody helping with you, like your marketing, your admin stuff, your accounting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm having to do that myself right now. I have had to realize that because I honestly can use the same factor. I don't have time, and I'm glad that I'm being able to do that as a business owner, but you got to know when to do it. So
correct. Yeah. You got to have it, like you said, a strategy behind when you're going to, take a different turn and take an investment, right? Because that's not only time, but that's your money, right? You're investing in these people, and you probably got to have a process in place to communicate to them what you want in the first place, right? Just like building a house.
I mean, and you can't make that investment if you don't know where you're at financially. You can't go out and pay somebody $50 an hour to do stuff if you don't have the money. So, and
yeah. Or, get started on the project and like, okay, we got to stop. I'm out of money. Right. With any of those aspects of the business. Okay. So once they've got the budget in place, they started, they know their numbers, they're understanding their numbers at least. What's the next step for them?
Tracking each project and cash flow. So when I say track each project, you have to have a plan, like a spreadsheet in place. You have to have a software in place, or even just using something like QuickBooks that I help clients with. I also see people using outsourced applications, which are great too.
Yep.
But using those to help you understand where your profit margin sits. If you know you have to have a specific profit margin and meet it, and if you're not tracking it, how can you actually know if you're meeting it or not? And that goes back to knowing if you're actually making money. I mean,
right.
And I always tell clients, you got to focus on your net profit margin. You can have a 90% gross profit margin, but if your net profit margin is only 10%, you're clearly doing something wrong. So
right.
That is what you get after everything. But you have to know what goes into that too. And that's not just income and the big expenses of paying materials. It can include, like, if you have to include gas in there, if you want to get super detailed, you can include everything in there if you want to. Most clients don't like to get super detailed. Some do, but they want to just have a general idea that knowing that, hey, we made this, okay, we know we're covering everything, but you have to sit down and do that. Or you can have a software company that does it, or you can have your bookkeeper helping you do it in QuickBooks. Either way, you should be doing it. It's something that in this industry you should be doing. And if you're not, you should start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I see a lot of times they, pull some margins out of the air. They're just like, oh yeah, 20-25% is what I want to do, or right. I'll just settle for 10. And it's like, even know if you're going to be capable of doing that. Though,
exactly.
Right?
Yep. And then that kind of leads into the next thing of cash flow. I mean, cash flow is, if you don't have cash flowing through a business, you're not in business.
Yeah. Blood's not pumping.
Exactly. And cash flow kind of goes down to from the start to the finish. You have to be tracking it, and some ways of that clients are doing. Everybody's going to do it differently, but having control over it is what you need to control. Otherwise, it will control you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're controlling cash flow, some ways that I tell clients you should not be doing is commingling project funds. You should not be taking project funds, a deposit from project A and applying it to project Z because you needed to float a loan or something.
Mm.
Everybody is going to be wanting to get paid off each job, but if you don't have the draws, they can't be paid. So that kind of goes into knowing where you need to set bids in your schedule too. Like people will say, I like 50-50. Well, that's fantastic. But if you do 50 up front and 50 at the end, and somebody is going to be like, clients, they're getting more picky. And this is everything since COVID started. And if they're getting picky and they're holding up 50% of your job because something was not done correctly or they don't like the color, guess what? That's half your job that's just sitting there.
Yep.
And I preach that you have to set your contracts in milestones or have a draw schedule. And it's based on when this is done, when this is done, when this is done. If you're building a house, it's actually after each phase. If you're modeling a house, it's after each phase. You also have to get a certain deposit up front to obviously cover materials to be able to buy everything. So there is a lot that really goes into it that if you know, as long as you have the understanding of what you need to do, it obviously will work. But if you're not structuring everything based on your business, I'm not saying 50-50 doesn't work for businesses.
Correct. I'm
just saying that each business is going to be different in how you operate. And you need to understand that. And if you don't for your cash flow, it's not gonna, you're not gonna have any. So
absolutely, and especially probably for businesses just starting off too, which we see a lot of. We see a lot of them struggling with that. You know, they get going, and next thing you know, they come back. You know, asking people, "Oh, I've got half my money tied up, and the client doesn't want to give it to me now, right?" Because like you're saying, people are getting a little more pickier. There's more headaches involved because of material delays and all this stuff. Yeah, they get into a bad spot. So it's great to kind of give them that heat of warning and preach to them that there's other ways to do this. But they can't put that in place if they don't have the confidence of what they need to survive in the first place, right?
Right.
Budgeting and everything.
If you set in milestones, you're getting paid after each time you're doing something. You can also have the client sign off on it. So if you get to the end and you only have, let's say, $5,000 on a $50,000 project, well, $5,000's better than 25,000. If the client's being picky about one thing, they clearly signed the contract when something was done. Mm-hmm. If they're holding up that part, they can't be holding it up because of another part, and then payments due to you. Can that end in court? Can that end in lawsuits? Sure, but I mean, $5,000 is better than 25 sitting on there. So
yeah. Just checking in to see if we had a question real quick. Yes, we're recording this, Tim. Yeah. So, and guys, if you got any questions, anything's popping up, either something you already want to ask Matthew, or while we're having this conversation, something's popping in your mind that you're struggling with, or you want to answer to, put in the chat, put in the questions. We'll be happy to answer while we've got time. So Matthew, now that they've got confidence, right? They've got the budget down, they're working on the cash flow, they understand where they need to be in control to keep this business alive. What should they do next? What's the next step?
They need to just keep track of everything and reconcile and review their financial reports monthly, if not more often. I have clients that I'm working with monthly. I have clients that I work with weekly.
Wow.
Specific things.
Oh man.
And it really is going to depend on the size of your business. Like, and it depends on how much detail you want too. Like, if you are a larger company, clearly you're going to want to be working more with somebody hand in hand through the week, because you need to know where stuff is to make a decision next week on payroll or something like that. If a job's held up, you're not going to pay a guy because the job's held up, because if they cause the issue or the client caused an issue and you still got to pay a guy, you got to know where to be able to get those funds from. So it's hard. Like, it's even hard for everybody, but you've got to be able to understand monthly, if not like weekly, if not monthly or quarterly, where you're going and what you're doing, because you have to be able to plan for the next month, week, quarter, basically any time period in your business, to know when the right idea is or the right time is to invest in, like outsourcing, invest in buying a piece of equipment or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Because like you said close to the very beginning, was a lot of times people complain about they don't have time, right? They don't have time to sit down and do this stuff. Well, it's probably because they're out chasing jobs to make it for the money that they didn't have for, that they didn't budget for properly or bid properly in the first place because they didn't have the foundation. So it catches up with you after a while.
Yep, it does. And it's when it catches up with you, I'm just going to tell you, it's not fun to clean up. It's not fun. It's not cheap. And then you're really going to be investing more time than if you just started from the beginning, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, this is, we're talking like theory right now. We're in the huddle, right? This is the easy part, talking about this and getting questions answered and planning things out, right? Just like if you were to sit down with Matthew, like that planning session is the huddle before the actual game that you go out on the field and get beat to crap. It's a whole nother world. But this is you arming yourself with that knowledge so you don't keep making the same mistakes that we've seen industry wide all the time, and not just even in construction roofing. It's across the board, but the trades industry is definitely cutthroat too, especially today's economy. All right, Matthew. So what do you have after that? What is, are there any other steps you have in there? Or do you want to kind of turn to different topics that you want to talk about, other tips and stuff you have?
I would just say that like this is kind of like the basic setup, but getting it set up is obviously on the business owner. If you're not going to take action and you're not going to be able to have time, then you really need to make time. Otherwise, your business may not survive. And I mean, just having this system set up in place and reviewing, you're also going to be set up for taxes at the end of the year. So you're not scrambling in come March because you need to meet a deadline, and then you're having to have somebody like me actually come in and help, because at that point we're probably handling other business owners and they're the same, and you're going to have to file an extension, or you're going to have to figure out what to do. But also it's going to cost you a lot of money to be able to wait that long to do it. So, and it's not just like fees for businesses that have to clean it up and stuff. It's your time, your money that if you would have done it from the start, you could have actually made better choices in what you're doing or hiring and bringing someone on. So,
yeah, absolutely. That cost of inaction really will bite you in the butt. So, all right. So what other topics? I know there's some other things you want to talk about, almost like tools, if you will, or strategies that you have that you want to kind of go over with that could help some people maybe in the situations they're dealing with. What are some of those tools or the strategies that you want to throw at them?
Well, first one is, if you're not tracking accounting in an accounting system, you can, if you've got a system down, that's great, like Excel, or there's others or accounting systems. But if you're not tracking, you need to start tracking. Like there's no reason not to track. I get it takes time. I mean, but it's going to take more time if you don't do it. So my first tip is get an accounting system in place. Whether you're running it, somebody else is running it, you need to know where you're at. And if you don't know where you're at, you got to find out. So, because you may not survive next month, because you can be stacked with jobs, but if you're commingling funds and you're not tracking, you may not make it till the end of the year. So, and I'm also going to say, like, leveraging credit. I know people in this industry are trying to build credit. They're afraid of credit. Having like credit accounts with Lowe's, Home Depot helps, because then you're able to, not only are you able to obviously build your business credit, help with keeping cash flow, but also with those types of businesses, you're also to keep track of your materials. So when you're actually going in and doing job costing, you can actually sit down and have your accountant or go back and see what you did for a job and enter everything to get your true margins. I still recommend that you save receipts clearly, which is something I'm personally terrible at, but it's one of those things that it's another tool to help your business track everything, to be able to keep everything in place. And also, if you ever have to go back and do something, you can actually pull a receipt or pull a copy of what you bought. So having systems like those in place to help, and I know not every store has them, but also having a system for keeping track of receipts and everything is key too. Don't use a shoebox. Don't bring an accountant a shoebox. We don't like it. And I know I'll say I don't mind, but it's like, it's one of those that it's hard, because then we're just going to be asking questions as many as if you would have just sorted them out for us.
Yeah.
But just have a system. It'll save you time. It'll save everybody time. So.
Yeah, exactly. Just have the systems. You do it right the first time, you're not going to repeat the action later and just cause more wasteful activity.
Exactly.
And that's so important. And some of the softwares even help with that. They integrate.
They do. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, leverage software too. I am all for like leveraging software and automation to a point. Like
Yeah.
if it's going to help me and save time and save, but if it's not, and it's just going to make more time, I won't invest in it. But if it's going to save me time to help me with clients and help me get better interactions, but also help them understand, I'm going to take the time to invest in it at the right time. So
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's a time and place for that, but that's why seeking advice from someone like you that's been there and seen that can maybe help them avoid the pitfalls of going down a route with a software or system, maybe even sold to, right? They learn all the pros about it, but they didn't realize that actually this doesn't fit what I need, like,
correct.
and then they get stuck with it type thing.
Yep.
So, okay, awesome. So what else did you want to dive into right now while we get some?
Well, kind of diving into the software aspect, I know I put out an announcement a little while ago about partnering with ProServe.
Mm-hmm.
So ProServe actually is one of those softwares that can help your business, not just with job costing, but with other aspects too. I'm only going to touch briefly because otherwise we can just get other private information if you want to message me or the owner.
Yep.
Clark is amazing at helping his clients achieve like true potential with their construction business. And he's like me, he's been there. He's actually building his business. He built the construction business. His chief operating officer, Jared, did the same thing. They know what they're doing to be able to help you in each area, but also their software is helping you keep track of your job costing, payments, supplies.
There you go.
Like that. And they have basically the same vision and the same setup and goals that I have. So that's why I chose to partner with them. But also they're just more than capable of like job costing software. They have other aspects that can help you with a blueprint. And I can be included at that meeting to show you how everything can go down. And that is actually a free service they offer. So something to consider, and we can always schedule out at a different time. So
Yeah.
But they're just amazing owners that truly care about their clients. So just like I do. And that's why they're a great team to bring on and partner with if we ever need anything. So
Yeah. So you bring up a great point there, Matthew. For those that are watching or see the information that you put out there, what are some key questions that a business owner needs to ask when they're interviewing an accountant? What are some of those critical questions that they should be asking? Not letting the accounting kind of steer the conversation, but the business owner, what would that, how can you help the people that are watching this?
So when you're looking for an accountant, obviously I know everybody's like, I need a CPA, I need a CPA. Well, do you really need a CPA, or do you need somebody helping with the day-to-day stuff? CPAs will help with day-to-day stuff, but I've honestly met too many people recently where their CPA's not doing it. They're either just getting stuff done every half year. They're not understanding where they're at. They're barely getting any tax information out of it. And I'm not badgering or going on CPAs, but it's just, that's the feedback I'm seeing. And they really need somebody just helping them on a day-to-day. And they want their CPA to help them with tax advice, filing things, getting things, which is what a CPA does, but also helps with bookkeeping. So
yeah,
when you're going to like interview a bookkeeper and stuff, like getting their experience, clearly you want to know what they've done, what they've helped clients, but also asking what they can do to help your business directly, what processes they're going to take, what services they offer, if they're going to be able to help you on a monthly, quarterly, or how their communication style is, how they keep your information private. That's a huge one that I keep close because I also worked in the banking industry, and keeping your financial information is private is very key to my business. It's not something I want out there, clearly.
Oh, yeah, I want to play with that.
Yeah, but also just asking them how much during the month, quarter, or week they're going to be working on your business, and just keeping in regular touch with them. Like I offer, as many other bookkeepers do, unlimited communication. You can send me an email, and I am normally pretty, as you have experienced, I'm pretty right there to answer everything, if not an answer within a few hours, because I want them to be answered. So
yeah, no, that's huge to have someone like you in their corner, especially when they're just getting all the groundwork laid for their accounting side of the business, just understanding all the financials. That's important to have someone that they can talk to you regularly. Because yeah, you're right. CPAs, some of them, it just may not be a good fit for them if they're only expecting to talk during tax season. They're
Right.
looking for someone that's going to help them really get a good game plan and manage throughout the year, which is
Correct.
critical. So, anything else that they should look for when they're looking into uh, joining a service, an accounting service, or software, or anything else that they should arm themselves with before they go out there and buy anything?
Just know going in what you need for your business. Like no bookkeeper is going to be perfect. No software is going to be perfect. Just
Yep.
but get the one that is going to make the most sense and help you operate based on what you need to do to operate your business and make it succeed. If one software doesn't make sense, don't be afraid to jump ship and go to another one. Even if I'm considering it myself joining another one.
Yep.
There may be a little bit of a loss in the software, but if it's something that's going to improve my business and make processes and procedures better, I'm going to do it and invest in it, because at the end of the day, it's going to save my business more money, helping me bring on people either as employees, bring on people as clients. It's something can even trim the fat of your overhead too. It could save you money. If it doesn't save you money, it could save, you might invest more in the software, but it could save you time, which then the other aspect is it's saving you money there. So it's just knowing going in what you need and what you expect out of it is two big things that I cannot preach enough. So
Yeah, no, I come across it all the time myself, and yes, other business owners, about the decisions to make when it comes to selecting a software or a service.
yep.
And yeah, you're kind of trading either time, money, or quality. You got to pick, but you have to have a goal in mind, like we talked about originally, of where do you want this business to go in the first place, right?
Correct.
And then you got to find the software, the solution that's going to leverage that opportunity.
Correct.
So what else are some of the biggest problems that you've seen? I know we just got out of tax season, right? So I know that was a big hailstorm right there. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you're still seeing from people in the construction, the roofing industries, that they're just not getting addressed, right? They're not asking the right questions, so they just keep repeating their same bad habits. What is some of that stuff that you see? Enlighten us on that.
I would say a couple are, the main one is knowing how and when to pay yourself. So there are many different structures to organizations, and the most common that I work with are LLC and S corps.
Yep.
Single member LLCs are just basically yourself in business. S corps are an actual different type of tax structure, and in an S corp, you actually have to take a salary as an owner.
Yeah.
If you're set up as an S corp and you're not taking a salary, that's a big tax issue that you need to address right away. And if you're one major thing that goes into that is setting up a payroll service. Like, yeah, it's going to cost you each month, but you need to be able to set up a payroll service to pay you and any other employees either automatically, or you can go in and be able to issue your payroll yourself. I actually partner with somebody at ADP that is great and will help clients.
There you go.
She's actually helped some of mine to be able to get on board and do that.
Yeah.
Helped me personally too, and I've started recently being able to do that because they're great at taking care of all the tax liabilities for you as well, because you do not want to have to track your taxes each payroll if you're a W-2 employee and have to worry about the tax payments and stuff. Trust me, I don't want to do it, so you're not going to want to do it. So having a system in place like that is one key that can help you. The other is just basically just knowing, like I said, it goes back to knowing your numbers, like knowing when to invest, set goals, plan out your cash flow, and planning out cash flow. Even if you create a separate account for deposits that come in for each job, and you make transfers out, knowing that money's there to be able to pay people. That is actually a structure I employ in my business, is that I have separate bank accounts. Deposits come in monthly, the payments go out, and then whatever's left, you have to, obviously, is profit, or it pays your bills, or you're not commingling funds with projects. When I'm working with different clients, either on a cleanup, I do the same structure. Like, I know when I have to, when I can take the deposit, when the money's actually earned and stuff like that. Yeah, if you don't know how to do that, we can help with that, clearly, but you have to, it's little things like that, and having structure to your business that is just key. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. The structure is so key. And so let me throw you a situation real quick. Let me throw you an example of something that, how do you navigate this conversation? So in my experience, I've had a lot of people, whether they're my client or just someone that called me up asking for help, right? They try and add a service as a crutch because their other service is not performing well enough, right? Whether they messed up the cash flow, the margins, whatever. Like, I'm sure you've probably just shaking your head. You've probably heard that many times, right? That's like almost a go-to for people who are like, hey, this is not doing well, so let's go add this on, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's cleaning to painting or power washing to roofing or whatever.
Yeah,
They start turning into a handyman essentially, which there's nothing wrong with handyman, but when you're a big growing company, you need to be a specialist, right? So
correct.
so if you come across I'm sure you come across people just asking a lot of questions, right? How would you navigate something like that on trying to educate them politely, but kind of making the point that no, that's not the answer. Like how would you go about that?
I mean, it comes down to like you have to understand where their conversation is stemming from, like why they're asking this and everything, like the true root cause of it. Like
Mhm.
if they have a bookkeeper they're not liking, but or the bookkeeper's not doing something, it's like, okay, well, have you approached that bookkeeper about doing it? Well, no. Okay, well, and then why go out and hire somebody new if they offer the service? Like my services are tailored to like what your business is. So like
Okay.
if you need a specific service, I'm going to offer it to you. You're the one who gets to choose if we do it or not. But at the end of the day, if you only want to stick with basic bookkeeping and don't do it, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm going to be there to help you and guide you. I'm going to give you my recommendations, but
Hmm.
if you then go out and get somebody else to help you with job costing or something else, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you and saying, hey, we offer this service too.
Yeah.
But going back to the advice aspect, it's like if somebody comes to me just asking a ton of questions, I will have them join a call because it's one
Yeah.
of those that it's clearly better to get in a call and sort it out and get the root cause. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, using it as a crutch is only going to, what does a crutch do? It props you up for a specific amount of time. You roll your ankle, you're only on a crutch for a specific amount of time. You don't live on the crutch.
Mhm.
You're living on your business. Don't use a crutch to live on your business.
Yep. That's solid advice. And um, yeah, we probably deal with that all the time, right? Is because they didn't build the foundation in the first place. They don't know where their money's going or what's coming in. And so they're frantically trying to find a solution, short-term fix to a long-term problem they've built up.
Right. And recently I've talked with some people that are just trying to do it all at once. And I was like, you can't do it all at once.
No.
Like you don't build a house all at once and not have plans. You pay an architect to make plans and help out, and you pay tradesmen to do stuff. You have to build a foundation first. If you don't have a solid foundation, yeah, it can take time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you got to invest in the time to be able to do it in order for your business to grow the right way. So,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I want to get back to what you're talking about. You don't have to get too in detail if you don't want to about your services. So I did want to touch on that real quick, kind of talking more about what Heritage does, specifically what you guys are doing to serve others, and just kind of like the overview of all that. Like, what do you offer? What do you provide?
so we do bookkeeping services. We help with job costing, accounts payable, receivable. We can get you set up with payroll and run your payroll. We can help you with budgets. We can help you like understand your bids a little bit better,
Mhm.
or help you just understand in general your financials. Like that's the ultimate goal. You can have all the services, but if you still don't understand your financials, then I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, it's like really what are you getting from it? So,
Hmm.
and it basically just starts with basic bookkeeping, understanding the basic fundamentals of where your money's coming in, where it's going, and then knowing what to do to improve it. So, but we help with everything that we possibly can. We also do some financial analysis. I have a couple clients I do that for. That's a little bit more in depth for when
Yeah.
you're larger, but you can also, QuickBooks is a great tool that can help you analyze different parts of your business to help you understand things. So
Yep.
that's what we go into, and we, like I said, we tailor each client's package to them. Like there's no set service. You can sign up for as much or as little as you want to. So,
Which is great for those that want to grow. It grows with them, right? Because the bigger you get, the more things you have to look
right.
for and strategize for, and so that's great that you can make it affordable for all of them.
Right. If 6 months down the road you're doing basic bookkeeping, but now you want to start doing job costing, you
Yep.
can. Like we can add it in at that point. And then that way you can get a better understanding of what's happening. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Now it's great that you provide that flexibility for people. I know that a lot of the bigger services don't do that. It kind of sucks them into a program that they can't afford and they can't utilize anyways on
Yep.
their own. So that's great. You provide that flexibility. So let's touch on that real quick though, too, about the size of companies, even the types of companies. We'll get back to that as well. But like, who are you generally serving? Who do you want to serve?
I just want to serve any business that needs help. I mean, I'm not, you could be $100,000 business a year, 50,000, all the way up to 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it gets to a point to where I'm going to recommend that you go in-house with stuff.
Yes.
But at least you've built yourself up to that, to where you're constantly doing stuff. My goal is to keep all clients long-term, but I also want to make it make sense for them, to where if they need to have that stuff in-house,
Yeah.
and I'm not able to do that, I will help you what I can. And then you can even turn it into CFO services. And that goes into a little bit different type of services that I can do for you, but also help you build your team of accountants too. So.
Okay. That's awesome. So, Matthew, is there anything else that you want to cover real quick? Because I know we've got some special offer that you wanted to talk about. But is there anything else you want to touch on first?
Right now, no. Just kind of going into, like, we're coming out of tax season, so obviously we're already over almost halfway through the year. So
Yeah.
get some structure in place before September quarter, like,
Yeah. Time's ticking.
yeah, time's ticking. So if you have a need, we're here. But if you have a need, and if it's not me, just have a professional help you on this side of your business. Like, there's many of us out there that can help, that we understand, and we're a business too, so we're gonna fully understand where you're coming from. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, you just got to take the time, right? I understand for a lot of them out there. This is a busy season. It's going to just get busier for them, which turns out to be the excuse on why they don't get set up with an accountant sooner. By the time that things cool off.
If you put it off, the cooling off is probably going to be November, and that's in the exact time everybody else is going to want help too. So
Yep, big bottleneck there.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's talk about this real quick. This special offer that you have. You know, not to get into too many details. We'll also talk about how people can get in touch with you, the best way they can reach out to you. Anytime if they have questions in future or just want to jump on a call with you, learn more about the alliance that you have or the partnership you have with ProServe Alliance. But what is this special offer that you're providing? Fill us in on that.
So I was just running a post-tax day special on services, and I was gonna kind of reiterate that, but also offer a little bit more. So cool. I wanted, because of this meeting, to offer a little bit of, so we're offering 25% off if you sign up for services. This is only for the first 3 people that contact me though, because we had such a big influx of people coming in for the after tax help.
Absolutely.
25% off your monthly cost. We will show you what the original cost and what the new cost would be.
Of course.
Also, if you need help with cleanup, we're offering 50% off of back work, which is actually a pretty huge discount, because back work is normally charged at your regular monthly rate for every month going back. That's just because we're basically having to go back and do everything. So 50% off on that is huge. Also, no matter what level you are, I offer free strategy meetings to, like, my higher level clients to go over stuff. Because when you have more transactions, you have more questions, I'm offering a free strategy session to anyone that's on any level that wants to take advantage of it during the month. Those obviously have to be scheduled once your stuff is done, and scheduled according to when we can all meet. So,
of course.
But also, just that's the offer. But basically, it's just to try to reach clients where they may need help. And I know it's after tax season, but you're coming into a busy season, and now's the time to take advantage of, like, obviously services, but getting this part of, and any part of your business that for in check before it might be out of check. So
yeah. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for putting that out there. Not, just obviously through our video here too, but to everyone watching and will watch afterwards. That great offer. That's huge. I mean, gosh, even just 25% off a month for the services to get going, that's huge. And this is the perfect time for them to take advantage of that. So thank you for that. Thank you for wanting to do what you're doing with serving the community, wanting to serve other small family, businesses, right? I think that's the biggest thing that we see a struggle is a lot of family run businesses. They make a lot of sacrifices, right? And sometimes it's more pride than it is practical because of these things that just, if they put some fundamentals in place and have that good, advisor in their corner, to help them strategize on where they need to outsource, where they need to delegate or automate, it can make a world of difference. And like we said, time's ticking, and it's I live by that motto too for myself. And when I make business decisions and personal decisions, and so that's huge for more of us to get out there and to reach out to those people and to bring this message to them, to help them out too, and actually make a difference. So
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'm changing up systems right now too, and I was just meeting with somebody and to help me with that because I know I need the help, and I'm committing to doing what I need to do to have another meeting with them tomorrow, just because I know I need to get it in place and get it done. So
taking that action, there you go. That's what I like. Yeah, not just sitting on it, and waiting for them to call you back for the follow up. So that's huge. Matthew, anything else that you wanted to, like a takeaway that you wanted to give everybody?
I just want everybody to take away, like, don't be afraid to invest in like having somebody help you or outsource. I get that, like, most virtual bookkeepers, that's why I offer unlimited communication. You can create a Zoom meeting with me once a week if you need it, if that's what you need.
Right.
Like, you just, like, in this day and age, a lot of people are going to outsourcing and virtual because of COVID, because of it saves costs with stuff on buildings and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to work with virtual people, but also just don't afraid to take the next step in investing in not only this side of your business, but the side of your business that truly needs to, like, have the money put into it to grow, whether that's marketing, finding jobs, finding people, keeping the right people on, just knowing what has to go into that before executing, but actually pulling the trigger on it. So
yeah, no, that's huge. Yeah, knowledge is power, like we keep saying, because I think it's people fear to invest in an accountant because they fear where's the money coming from. But it's like, if you get things cleared up with the accountant and you have the cash flow and all these things in place, you're going to have the strategy and the wherewithal to go out and get more work and to invest it in the marketing, invest it in the systems to go get that, that extra money to recoup the costs.
That's what job costing is, like, such a big thing. Like, clients will say, I understand it's not cheap for job costing, but if you know where you're at on revenue and you can improve your profit margin, that cost is not, it's going to be pennies to what you could be earning if you actually know where you're at. So
yeah, that's leverage, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matthew. I really appreciate this time. Now, what is the best way that you want people to get in contact with you if they have any questions, if you want to schedule a call, and of course, if they want to take advantage of this special offer? What's the best way they can get in contact with you?
If the easiest way is to schedule a meeting through my website, which is www.heritage-a-i.com. You can actually book a meeting through there, but to take advantage of this offer, I need you to directly message me or Clifton saying you saw the video and you want to take advantage of this. Now, you do have to actually commit to, like, sign up and everything. If I talk to you and then somebody else commits, I will hold your spot. And if I get more people, I will move forward with everything. But if you have to commit to be able to get the deal. So if other people commit, it's first come, first serve. If somebody signs up tonight, there's going to be 2 spots left. If you message me tonight and then don't follow for a week and it's gone, it's gone. So
correct. Yep. So strike while the iron's hot with everything else. Biggest things, take that action. Just like Matthew's taking action with the software. Take action and get your accounting software, solution system set up. Get in contact with him. At least get your questions answered. If anything, the worst thing I see with anybody struggling is they don't ask their questions and get an answer.
Correct.
You're just going to keep suffering. So this is a great offer, Matthew. I really appreciate you doing that. I was so glad to have you on the show. To have this discussion with you and obviously see all the success and the fruits of your labor with what's been going on just since we talked early this year, and excited to see where you go from there. So yeah, everybody can reach out to you, heritage-a-i.com, right? That's your website, or personally message me or Matthew for this special offer. Take advantage of it as soon as possible and make the most of it. And yeah, keep at it. So thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.